Hello. So in this concluding part of this lecture, we will look at the benefits of object-oriented programming. So the first benefit is that the complexity of programs or softwares is greatly reduced when you follow the object-oriented approach towards writing code. As we have already seen that in procedural programming, because of the interconnection among the functions and the modules, the complexity of the program increases with the size of the program. The bigger the problem, the bigger the complexity. The second benefit is that you get to use reusable code. So in object-oriented programming, the code that you write once can be reused several times. And the third benefit of object-oriented programming is that it restricts the unwanted changing of data. So in procedural programming, as we had seen, the data, global data to be specific, gets changed by the different functions. And sometimes, even if you do not want it, okay, it unintentionally also the data may be changed by the individual functions. So in object-oriented programming, because the data and the functions that work on the data are put together as one unit, so the unwanted changing is greatly covered. So now let's see how the four pillars of object-oriented programming can help in reducing or giving all these benefits. So we have the four pillars. So the first one was abstraction. So when you have abstract, because of abstraction, you have certain things which are hidden. The complexity is hidden. This is hidden. And then a very simple interface is provided. You have a very simple interface which is provided to the users. So as a result, okay, the complexity is greatly reduced. So abstraction helps in reducing the complexity. Then we have our the second pillar, which was encapsulation. So in encapsulation, we may have the object with the data and the code that works with the data together as a single entity. So as a result, what happens? The unwanted changing of data can be removed, because from outside, if anyone tries to change the data of an object, that is not to be allowed. So encapsulation helps in restricting unwanted changing of data. Then we had the third pillar, which was inheritance. Inheritance, okay? So you have a super class and you have a subclass, okay? I should not talk about classes right now. So you have, say, the car here, you have a hatchback out here, and you have a sedan out here. So the hatchback as well as the sedan, both of these are cars. So the code for the car can be kept here. The common code, which is for both hatchback and sedan, can be kept with car, and only specific to hatchback, the code and the data can be kept with the hatchback. Similarly, specific code and data for a sedan can be kept here. So as a result, what is happening? You can see that the code that is there in the car, the code and the data, that can be reused efficiently by the hatchback as well as the sedan. So you have inheritance, okay, helps in maintaining reusable code. And finally, the third And the fourth or the last one was polymorphism. Polymorphism. So polymorphism also helps in your reusable code. That means you have one single function, all right, and then that function will work differently for different objects. So one is it implements reusable code reusability, and also the complexity is reduced. So polymorphism helps in reducing the complexity as well as creating reusable codes. So these are the different benefits of object-oriented programming. And we can see that in our later classes when we implement these four pillars, that is abstraction, encapsulation, inheritance, and polymorphism, you will see how it fares in comparison to procedural languages like